Oh, viewers, it might be December and it might be raining, but I'm ever so excited. Here we are at the Great British Car Journey in Derbyshire, and we're lucky. Oh yes, there we go. We can even see some people on their little test drive experience with drivedadscar.com. And yes, there's no need to tell me that Ian Seabrook from Pubnut's been here, and so is Steph, my driver classic. I know all that, viewers. I've seen the videos. I've been planning on coming here myself for quite some time, actually, and I just wasn't able to have to do so earlier. But I was relatively close by, and so I've decided to pay a visit, and we might even have some nostalgic, sensible second-hand classics for me to drive a little bit later on. But yes, we'll be shambolically shuffling our way around. As usual, I'll be trying not to fall over. The words, oh look, there's another one going on there. The words might not come out very well out of my mouth. That often happens. Ooh, Morris Minor convertible. The words might not come out of my mouth in the right order. There's probably not going to be wind noise inside, but you know, if I get interrupted by announcements of the people, if there are other people here, then I do apologise. I just hope that you enjoy it as much as I know I'm going to. So yes, we shall make our way in. I'm meeting one of the staff here shortly, and we shall have a look around. Right, viewers, the museum is divided into several sections, and we are at the oldest car in the collection. This actually isn't owned by the museum, it's owned by a charitable foundation called the Place, a Charitable Foundation. This car was at the NEC for the Classic Car Show. It's now been converted into a sleigh because it kind of looks like one. But it's a 1902 Arrol Johnson XS2. It's the most complete version of this car that actually exists, apparently. Santa's first car. I'm not sure how much of that is true. Do we still believe in Father Christmas? I'll leave you to put your comments down below. But yes, apparently it's got a sequential gearbox. It's almost an absolute nightmare to put in gear. And eligible for London Brighton Rally. This is a car that's actually come on into the collection quite recently. It's a 1987 Mini Mayfair. I did drive a Mini Mayfair on the channel on Tweed Jacket Reviews last October, and this is actually what it should have looked like. The car had been modified quite extensively, but this is a standard one, and of course one lady owner knew. It's just before they removed the Austin name from cars and just have the little mini badge. But yes, the interior is standard as well. It's got the blue seats. First selection there is Herbert Austin. Lots and lots and lots of Austin 7s. So I can put the camera inside the cars because lots of the cars have windows open. That's not a problem. But I'm not allowed to touch anything, so I'll try not to do that. So lots and lots of Austin 7s, lots of minis as well. There's over 10 of them in this collection. Only 33 Austin 7 Sport 65. Much room for someone like me in there. Not much in this one either, but look at that interior. Wow. And of course, one of these, the layout is relatively conventional. The handbrake is inside the car, not on the outside, and the pedals, which are sort of down there, are in the correct order that we use for modern cars. So theoretically I shouldn't have any problems driving one of them, but I know I would do. 25/7 Chummy, same car as in this photograph up here. This is actually the former residence of Herbert Austin. It's now a sort of luxury flats, I think, and that one there is the drawing room where Stanley Edge and Herbert Austin came up with the plans for this car, I think in winter of 21-22. when Austin were in a bit of trouble. The receivers had just arrived and they were a maker of luxury cars and they needed money quickly. 1931 Austin 7 Box Saloon, which got a green interior. Is that a non-started gear knob on there? Answers in the comments section below. And of course, this is how Jaguar started out, Swallow sidecars, founded in 1922. Originally based in Blackpool, I believe. Coach builder for things like Austin 7s. They also did standards and everything like that. A spare wheel on the back. Very, very, very thin tyres on a 7. Another 7 here. We'll get to that in a second. This is a later 7 here. Someone's stolen the information plaque of that one. Viewers. There's a reason why we call this Shambolic Shuffles. I think that's a 7 Ruby or something like that. Don't ask me what year it is, because I do not know. And I can't scan the little thing. We're not going to be scanning the little barcode things today, because it will just make this video far too long. So Shambolic Shuffles are long enough as they are. 1934 Austin 7 Box Saloon and Caravan. It could be a long journey, yes, and an Austin 7 with a very small engine and towing a Caravan, it could be a very long journey. Nice to see, actually, they colour-coded the car. So the Caravan. Actually, whilst we're here, we'll take a look inside the Caravan, viewers, because we are here. We might as well take a look inside. It's a very, very, very small Caravan. Oh my gosh. I don't think I want to sleep on that, viewers. It'd be a bit uncomfortable. 1947 Austin 16 Woody from Birmingham. The factory in the background is a sort of convalescence exercise that was used after the war for patients who'd had tuberculosis. And with steel shortages, they started making woody cars. And you can see at the top of the car, I don't know if you can, but the surface is much more kind of sort of rough and ready than the immaculate paintwork down here. 1959 Ford Anglia. This is a very, very late, I think it was called the 100E model. The Prefect, I think, was the four-door version of this, and then the popular continued with the 100E body style later on into 61. 1954 Austin A30, 803cc engine in this. This is a four-door version, which is, I think, the rarer type actually with these A30s. It's got a smaller rear window. And now we have some cars which are sort of designed in the late 40s, and some of them were successful, some of them weren't. This Triumph Mayflower was a local car from 1963 onwards, but it's a Surrey plate, but it was living with a local family in Buxton for 58 years. And this car now has a permanent home here. We can have a look in here. It's a leather interior, very, very sort of stately car. I would have hoped it has a bit more wood on the dash, you know, for a car that was quite expensive actually when it was new, but a total failure. This sort of razor edge design fell out of fashion quite quickly. Complete contrast to this XK120. Again, this is on loan from the same charitable foundation as the Errol Johnston. This is a 1951. At the same motor show was the Austin Atlantic, which, if you look at these two cars together, the design of the Austin just seems very, very fussy and trying to be American. I mean, it's a beautiful car and very typical of period. It's sort of, I think they called it the sort of Beetleback design on in here. And look at that, it's got a beige leather interior. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. Look at those kind of art deco style instruments in there and the little Bakelite knobs. But yes, the more successful design, this XK120, so successful they've sort of had versions made until 61 with the XK140, XK150. 1954 Daimler D36 Limousine. It's owned by a gentleman by the name of Arthur Elvin, who bought the Wembley site after the Great Empire Exhibition of 1924. And there we are in the background, there he is. And they didn't know what to do with the land afterwards, so he bought it and repurposed it from the exhibition into Wembley Stadium. Massive, massive, sort of heavy car, and if we look inside, well, I'll have to take it from this angle. That seat on the left was sprung differently from the one here on the right, because his lady wife liked the spring to be different. Best advice for you is to make sure that lady wives are well looked after. I know that from my own experience. 1959 Vanden Plas Princess, sort of end of the originally the sheer line type of Austin. It's got another beige leather interior, and lots and lots of wood all over the dashboard. I hope that's an auto though, otherwise it would be impossible for me to drive. Yes it is, it's an auto. I am going to say Vanden Plas viewers because it's going to be easier if I just use a pronunciation I'm familiar with. That's the one that they used in the marketing department Austin Rover in the 80s actually, although other pronunciations are equally acceptable. Another Austin here. Lots of Austins in this collection. Got brown leather. Certainly looks like it. This is the big Austin of the time, the A30 Hereford. This is 53. 52 standard Vanguard. Love to go around the back for this one, viewers, I think. Another kind of, I think this is a proper Beetleback, this one. And then a Morris Oxford. We're going to have to walk around the other way to see some more information about it, but I've just spotted a minor traveller. This will be a relatively early one because of the steering wheel and also the split windscreen. This will be between about 53 and 56, although I think actually it does say 59 on this somewhere. But we'll shambolically shuffle our way back up. Excuse me. Past the Series 1 Land Rover, showing off its Burma Bright construction. It's a 58 Morris Oxford. Looks very familiar because it's very similar to the Hindustan Ambassador, but was in production until 2014. I actually went in the back of an Ambassador Ambi in India in about the same time, about 2014, and they feel a bit sort of loose on the road, I think. Yeah, it says a 59, but everything I've read tells me that this split screen car should be between 1953 and 56 on the 803cc engine, but what do I know? Another minor here. This is a minor million from 1961. I've actually got two of these at the museum. They were all made in this sort of lilac colour with this sort of cream leather interior, so I can't get too excited. Actually, I'm not even sure it's leather, it might be vinyl. And we had this steering wheel. So you can see it's a later steering wheel from the Traveller over there. And it's got a single piece windscreen with the wipers that meet in the middle like that. So you can tell the cars between 1956 and 1962 when they fitted the 1100cc engine to them. This will have a 948cc engine in it. 1950 Morris Minor MM convertible, low light. You see the headlamps on that Minor Million are up on the wings, whereas the original Morris Minor, which was designed by Alec Isagonis, would have had them down here. But for certain export markets with the Series MM, they started moving them up to the wings, and then they got rid of the original engine of 53 and made some other changes and made them into the, I think it was called the Series 2, from what my memory serves me, which often is incorrectly on this channel. Ooh, that interior is nice, viewers. Look at that gear lever, it's a bit like a rubber P4. Yes, we know about P4s, viewers, and we know how difficult they are to drive. Before I leave this place, I'd better just come up and have a look at the Austin 16 here and the Austin 10. The Austin 10 looks awfully like a 7, but it isn't. And one of the main things that gives it away is the fact it's got 4 doors. Now, these cars were owned by a local family, and here is the family in, I think, August 1939, just before the outbreak of the Second World War. The chap in the middle looks a bit distraught because he knows what's coming. This car on the right is still owned by that family, this 34 Austin 16. This one was actually bought by the museum from family. I think it was bought for sort of a daughter or daughter-in-law at some stage. So a lot of local heritage here. And the green leather interior. Look at all that space in the back. This is the actual car from the photograph as well. You can see how they've got these doors that open different ways. It's like a P4 or something. Just like this Austin 10, opened in the same way, have a blue leather interior. Right, let's go to the next section, viewers. So we've done a minor miracle of BMC, and we now need to go and see more of Alekis Agonis. There he is. He's born in a place called Smyrna, which is in modern-day Turkey. And we've got many minis. This is a really old one. It's a 59 Austin 7. I can't remember on the back of these how they did the 7, but I think it was with a number 7 in the middle. Ooh, no, it wasn't. It's an all one. Obviously on these earlier cars have been number plate hinges down when you open it. Look at that, there's nothing at all. Sort of house style door handles, sliding windows, cable to operate the door if you wanted to get out, enormous pockets in there, loads and loads of space on the dash, and it's not an awful lot really. It's not tiny little accelerator pedals. Well, absolutely tiny. One of 2 Austin 1300 GTs, 1275 A series, which this is an A series in here, it's an 850, but 1275 A series in this one. A little GT gear lever, and ooh, look at all those dials. It's very late ADO 16 because by this stage of 74, the Allegro was already in production. Yes, it's been Z-Bot protected, that's probably why it survived so long. More early minis, which are worth a lot of money now, viewers. You can see by the time they made this one in 1965, actually this is the 63, and you can see it already, they've got rid of the Austin 7 name, which is called the Mini, which is a lot less confusing. But there were both Morris and Austin Minis manufactured, and both at Longbridge and at Cowley. This one's still got the little pulls. Things are so small. 10-inch wheels, of course, on this. This car is actually owned by, I think, a local lady as well. This one's got plastic on the seats because, well, she kept the plastic on the seats. Can't remember if that little thing on the floor is a dip switch. Answers in the comments section below. So we've got the 63 Mini here, and this is a Mini 30, so it's made in 89. Never registered for the road. There were 2 of these bought by his son for his 2 boys to learn to drive in when they were 17, and neither of them actually ended up driving them. This one's done less than 20 miles. The family Saloon's the other one actually. There's the little badge. So never registered for the road, and it's just been gaining value. Based probably on a Mayfair, but with lots of different unique bits: door cards, seats, steering wheel, and the radio in a really silly position because our liquor agonists didn't want people to have radios in their cars because it was a distraction. Another radio 16 here. This is a 1968 MG 1300, this would be a Mach 2. Very different dashboard from the 1300 GT, with no rev counter, even in an MG. You have to get the Riley version to that. See, Riley died in '69, so I made the 1300 GT a little bit later. They decided to actually have some proper kind of luxury with, conventional dials and a rev counter. Mark 1 Austin A30 Sprite Frog Eye. Similar to an MG Midget, although the bodywork on this is completely different actually because they never made an MG version of this original design. I think I'd probably get in there because of the hood up, I don't know. This is a very interesting car. This is a 1968 Ford Anglia 105E. It's a very late one at 68. This is the Deluxe 1200. By this stage, the Escort had just started production, so early 68 registration on an F, so one of the last Anglias made, and it's got the full width grille on it, which was not on the base models, which are very rare actually. It's very rare to see base model Anglias. 1958 Morgan 44. I mean, you wouldn't know what year it is really because they all look the same, don't they? From I think the mid 30s onwards. 1972 Ford Escort 1300 GT Mark 1. Those of you who watch things like the Sweeney will see it's got an HK plate on it. So that could possibly mean it was registered by Ford themselves. And someone's put a Spyball electronic car alarm in it, so I better be careful when I put it in here. We've got a little bit of wood around as well. Very typical colour of the period. I can't remember the name of it, so you'll have to help me out in the comments section below. 4 doors these days are worth a little bit less than the 2 doors, which command ridiculous prices. 1966 Jaguar E-Type 4.2 Series 1 Coupe with, I think, the Mach gearbox still in it. Now, I did drive one of these actually on my channel. It was a 2+2 version of this on True Jacket Reviews in January 2020, but that's not been a very popular video, unfortunately, viewers. I don't quite know why, but nobody is really that bothered about me driving that, which is a shame. 1953 MG TF, that'll be the 1250cc version. 1964 Austin A30 Mark 3. Just needed for 3000 Mark 3. Yeah, 64 on that plate, and it even tells you. There we go. I would like to try one of these at one point, but I think the steering's probably going to be heavy. I don't have an awkward gearbox in it, just that's the sort of way it goes with cars I like to drive, but never meet your heroes possibly, I don't know. So we go, shuffle round there. There we go, 3000. 1963 Rover P410. Yes, viewers, I know we've had a P4 on the channel quite recently. This is a slightly later one with a more powerful engine. I think it's 123 horsepower in these, and steel doors rather than the Burma Bright. There we are. See some more wood. That big steering wheel to so you can haul it round at 3.8 turns lock to lock, like trying to handle a super tanker. 1960 Riley 1.5, sort of like a nicer version of a Minor with different rear bodywork. Look at a green and white interior, and look at the wood on the dash. Actually got a sort of proper glove box in there as well. Wait a minute, a rev counter. Excellent, I'll get one of those on a Minor. There we go, it even spells it out at the back, Riley 1.5. Triumph Vitesse 2 litre. Wow. basic sort of dash and stuff from low half the doors was the same as on I think it was called the Bond Keep. Yeah, 67 on an F. 1964, Vauxhall VX 490, the sporty version of the FB Victor. Yes, we quite like that, viewers. And it's got a rev counter as well. I like cars that have rev counters in them, viewers. I'm quite fond of that. Vauxhalls were known at the time for being really, really rusty, so amazing to see one in such nice condition. Jensen 541S. This car came out of I think another local person, a lady owned this for some time, and had all of her cars in her collection painted in this colour. 61. This car, I think you can actually drive it as well because it's got the recording equipment in it for people to come and drive cars and do. And we shall be driving cars later. Yeah, not an original plate to Derbyshire, but lived there for some time. So we're leaving now the Alec-Agonis thing and going to British Leyland, 1967 to 70 approximately. The first one we see is not a British Leyland car, but it's a Gilbert Invader. Very late one, 73. This I think will have the Ford A6 V6 in it. Gilburns were made in South Wales. One of the only cars I think to actually have had a production facility in South Wales. This one's an auto. Nice trim and everything, and it's got a beige leather interior. I like a beige leather interior, viewers. I hope that's leather. I'd be disappointed if it isn't. Unfortunately, in the same year as this car was made, 1973, well, I was right, it is an A6 V6 in this one. Nice colour too. VAT appeared, and Gilburn's sort of big thing at the time was making cars either you could purchase as a kit or ones that were factory built for you, and that was a lot of their business that disappeared, and the price of the kit suddenly went up by, I think it was about 20%, and that sort of killed the whole company off. It's a massive shame. Ooh, 1980 Morris Ital. Viewers, I absolutely love Morris Itals. I don't know why, don't ask me, but I really, really like them. I really want to have a go in one actually, viewers. I don't think this is on the list that you can drive today, so we won't be having a go in it today. It's for 1.70 series, it's 1.8 HLS, but maybe I might be having a go in the future. Wow, period. High level rear brake light. There's the Rover 110. Ooh, and a Land Crab. This is a Morris 1800 Mark II version. Again, big areas for storage because that's what Alec-Agonis like. And an umbrella handbrake. See if we can just walk past here without knocking the mirrors. Yeah, 71. Rio Brown, 1973, Rover 3500 P6. A-track stereo. This colour was the same as the first car that actually was filmed for Birdie and Dog Driving Professionals, which is an episode called Old Dog and New Tricks in I think June 1977. It was a 2000 auto, so auto like this but with the 2-litre engine. Used premium grade fuel, not less than 97 octane. That's good for advice for classic car owners everywhere. Ooh, from Margam Abbey Motors in Port Talbot. Nice XJ with the adjustable steering column. It never represented professionals, which is called the heat cools off. The plot device is that a gun is hidden in a little tray in the centre console of a Jaguar XJ. This is a series one, just like the one in that episode. It's a 1970. 1978 Reliant Scimitar GTE. I do like these Scimitars, viewers. I'm not going to say the thing you want me to say because I refuse to. It's automatic. Probably got the Cologne engine in it this, I imagine. 2.8. Yeah, GTE, it's a later model. What's that? Oh, it's a Wolseley 1660. Luxury viewers. Right, we'd better go around the back here and take a look at the interior. I dump my head down here. Oh, ouch. Oh. I'm not sure if that's leather or vinyl, but we've got a vacuum gauge on it. What on earth is that? This is a very late 1660. What are called the BMC Farina cars, or I think just Cambridges, sometimes people just call them, were launched in 1959, and this is a late registration, sort of an L72. So yes, come here and use your device and scan the story. Right, we will finish up this area. We've got another few sections to cover in there. Ooh, Daimler 6 Vanden Plas. Viewers. Still a Series 1, sort of a Jaguar XJ body shell. We'll probably walk around the back of that one. So I'm looking at this Triumph Toledo for the same from 73. My parents had one of these Toledos. The 4-door was, I think, less common in this country, but it was available. This is a 2-door. It's kind of similar inside to my 1980 Triumph Dolomite 1500 SE I used to have, but more basic because I had sort of nicer fabric seats rather than vinyl. And this has the short rear end, Toledo. Yes, but and it's got a beige leather interior. Oh, viewers, I do like a nice beige leather interior and wood. Oh, I'm getting far too excited, viewers. Right, Triumph Spitfire. This is a 1500. It's quite a late one. That dashboard has got lots of things in common with the sort of later Dolomites and also the Stag. Saw a Stag body shell yesterday, actually, good. Yeah, 77 on an S. Close relative of it was the GT6. This is a really late one. This is the Mach 3. Yes, it proudly says that. It's a Mach 3. This is the last year they made the GT6. They sort of played around with the rear suspension quite a lot between the Machs. If any of you know what the differences were, answer in the comment section below and look at all those instruments. Wow. Oh, we've got volt gauge, temperature gauge, fuel gauge, oil pressure gauge. Oh, I like that, viewers. And a little hatchback on the back too. Another design, I think this is another one of the same era. This by Carmen rather than Michelotti, who did a lot of Triumphs. Triumph TR6. Yes, please, viewers. I'd like to have a go in something like this. It'd be very nice. And its colours very typical of the period. Yeah, another 73. Less than 6,000 miles. Look, and no. That's a 74, 75 plate. Must be something funny going on there. Local plate to Portsmouth, which is actually where the cars were registered. You know, where in the area I grew up, a lot of cars had Portsmouth plates on them. That was the local office, and also Southampton plates, but they merged the two later on. So it's very difficult to tell where they're from sometimes. But last year production for a Maxi. It's a Maxi 2. Oh, viewers, it's the L. This is the base model, so I imagine this is just a 1.5. There's not many of these Maxi 2s around. They didn't make them for very long. And yes, generic late period BL steering wheel, no rev counter. Still got a 5-speed gearbox though, and absolutely loads of room. Because they said they had to use, but I think Escort had a hand in this as well. They had to use the doors from the Land Crab. Yeah, black bumpers on this. I don't know why, but I quite like the look of the Maxi 2 as opposed to the original one. I don't know why. I'm a strange person, viewers. Right, anyway, thank you ever so much indeed, once again, for watching this first part of a Slightly Shambolic Shuffle around the Great British Car Journey. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment below. Thank you ever so much indeed once again.